Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome to the Fashion Bunker. Finally, it is time for the Chanel No. 5 L'EAU review. L'EAU. Let's call it L'EAU. The water. Chanel No. 5 water. Let's come in close. Now, some of you might be thinking, as you're looking at me dressed like this, what the fuck was he thinking about? Well, there's a reason for this attire. Let's spray the baby first, shall we? There you go. I've already sprayed it here some time ago because I want to have the dry down right next to the top notes. Now, for those of you who haven't, go check out my first impressions of Chanel No. 5 L'EAU. The link is in the description box down below if you want to know more details about the spraying and stuff. But without re-explaining it again, I will spray it here very close to the skin, very intense. And here I did on the top, towards my wrist, I did the airy atomizer, and here I did a really close spray. Okay, the reason why I'm dressed this way is because, well, Olivier Polge wanted to, every 10 years approximately, they want to rejuvenate, recast the spell of Chanel No. 5 and get new audiences and new customers and new younger clientele into the game. So the water of Chanel No. 5 is indeed a sort of testament to that sort of attitude, if you may. So I'm not saying youth should. A floral-based fragrance, aldehyde-based and floral-based fragrance, into something new, because flowers are the symbol of youth. Flowers are the symbol of spring, are the symbol of rebirth. So if indeed the first 1921 year of release of the first rendition of Chanel No. 5, the Pure Parfum, if this is flower based and L'EAU from 2016 is flower based, how can flowers have a difference? So younger flowers and older flowers. So I'm wearing this kind of psychedelic Jeremy Scott concoction of these kind of acid trippy flowers. This is a really weird t-shirt. It's reversible, so you can have a stripy green and white combo on the other side. You have flowers, leaves, and it's a bit clownesque with polka dots as well, because this represents to me, I love this t-shirt, mind you, but the t-shirt in combination with Chanel represents to me a sort of a slight flop in the intentions of what the brand was going for and what it actually achieved. I love the t-shirt. I'm wearing it with the Chanel cap from the airline collection. There's red there, there's red on the, it matches, it fits, but it's kind of a clash. But it still kind of works because I guess, I'm pushing that character, trying really hard to make it all fit. So tell me that it fits. Please do. No, I'm just kidding. You can say it doesn't fit if it doesn't fit. But same goes for this fragrance here. It opens up with a sweet citrusy tone. So the top notes are aldehydes. I'm loving those aldehydes. Let's not forget that now to create aldehydes is relatively cheap and affordable. Back in the 20s, out of, the need of these perfume houses to not always have to rely from India or all faraway seas, because the crops would burn or there would be floods or whatever. They would be conditioned. Natural ingredients are so conditioned by weather and a lot of things. So from year to year, from crop to crop, you might have different results. So it's this need that pushed the industry to develop aldehydes, which is an artificial kind of enhancer of certain scents and flavors or fragrances, and that creates kind of a more freedom for the maker of the perfumes, more freedom and independence from natural disasters that might destroy entire plantations of flowers if, happens. So back then it was really expensive to create aldehydes. Today it's not anymore. Technology is advanced, obviously. But anyway, I'm loving those aldehydes in Chanel No. 5. Neroli is in the top notes. Then we got orange, mandarin orange, and lemon. Then we got middle notes, ylang ylang, jasmine, and May rose. Base notes, white musk, and cedar. Now for the top notes, to me the neroli and the mandarin mixed with the lemon. The orange is there as well, but I feel more like leaves, like those. It's a leafy orange, very soft. And it kind of already hits a transition from top note to middle note, which the rose isn't there just quite yet, the May rose, but the ylang ylang is there and the jasmine is there. And they are working their way already towards the top notes and kind of dragging them down a little, twisting them down a notch. And here we have this psychedelic thing going on already where you have the feeling that, like the print on this shirt, like as if we have the citrus, but it's already fading and it's not disappearing. It's fresh, it's there. And it's a rare version of a citrusy top note because it doesn't really disappear on my skin immediately. It stays there for quite a while. But it's subdued and soft. It's not acidic at all. It has that sweet twist, that constant sweet twist covering it. Like little waves of sweetness covering the citrus and the mandarin and the orange. And so it could be the neroli. It is the aldehydes because they sparkle. This citrus sparkles. It's as tacky as it sounds. It's as if you would have purchased plastics. And these citruses have plastic sparkles of like translucent or transparent plastic that's supposed to either resemble drops of water, super tacky, or even worse, crystals that resemble kind of like sugar, as if like you had like little bits of sugar that coat the lemon to give it that sparkle. That's the tackiness of it. So this lemon is like that plastic lemon with that artificial sparkle on top, which I adore, honestly. Right off the bat, I have to say I do prefer not atomizing this like from a distance with a cloud because it's super light. For me, it works like I did down here, really close, and spray it, and then you got a little pond of perfume because that's where the concentration hits the right spot for me personally. And there the aldehydes sparkle more. They don't just like evaporate so quickly. On this side, because it doesn't have, a lot of people compare L'EAU No. 5 to Eau Première, which used to be sold in these like elongated bottles. This is the smallest version, 40 ml, but they existed up to 150 ml. Now they have repackaged them in bottles that look just like Chanel No. 5, Eau de Parfum, and L'EAU. What I don't like about Eau Première, I think, is the dry down, because that's when it gets slightly pissy and acidy on me. It turns a bit aggressive. But in fact, what is interesting? I mean, this is a flanker of Chanel No. 5, Eau Première. And L'EAU is also a flanker of No. 5. And yet it's as if they were. In fact, when you turn the bottles at the bottom, you will read Eau Première is an Eau de Parfum. L'EAU is an Eau de Toilette. So it's as if the L'EAU would be the Eau de Toilette version of the Eau de Parfum No. 5 Eau Première. So it's as if within the flanker family, these two belong together. They're not two separate flankers. Of course, there are differences. Eau Première was concocted, designed, or structured, or developed, or invented, or composed by Jacques Polge, and the son, Olivier, made L'EAU. You could see the father and son kind of family structure in these two perfumes, and yet they are different. I prefer L'EAU, to be honest with you. I never quite get to the musk and the cedar. Again, the May rose at a certain point kicks in within the dry down. And ylang ylang is there, and the jasmine. To me, those are the three queens. The jasmine, the May rose, it's more the jasmine and the ylang ylang. And the ylang ylang is what also makes, in my personal opinion, Chanel No. 5, the parfum, so magical and powerful. Not so much the rose, because the rose is a special type of rose that allows itself to be dominated by other ingredients. It's a passive type of rose. It's a type of rose that you can tear and rip and squish and press all those vital lymphatic juices out of, and yet it still keeps on lingering on, and it's still there, and it says, oh, give me more, or take more from me. That's the addictive narcotic aspect of Chanel No. 5. That rose is passive. It's not an aggressive type of no. This one lets you hunt it down, and it lets you keep hunting it down over and over again, and it gets you hooked. Slowly but surely. And tiny, simple, subdued May Rose, which is even more passive than the one in the perfume. Because the perfume is also powdery, and the pure parfum. I personally believe the civet is in there. I have a vintagey version, so civet is not in there anymore, but back in the day it used to be. And guys, what is amazing in the dry down, of all the Chanel regular releases, to me, L'EAU in the dry down has the quality of their Les Exclusives. Now, I'm sure that they did not put the highest end ingredients and the grasse rose and all that shebang that they do only for the Les Exclusives and the pure parfums. I'm sure they did not put it in L'EAU, in the eau de toilette. Or maybe they did in the first edition ever. Perhaps to sell it, to get good reviews, maybe they upped the concentration, maybe they worked more on the ingredients now, and then they're going to kind of mellow it out with time. Let's not forget, this is not so crazy, what I'm just saying right now, because we already know as a fact, and this has been told to me several times by Chanel essays in Paris at the Chanel cosmetics store, that the pure parfum, when it first came out, had over 180 ingredients. Then they had to cut them down because they toned it down to around 84, 85 ingredients. Still a lot, so they say today, but 100 at least ingredients were cut out and simplified to be able to produce it more. So I'm not so sure a second edition of L'EAU, or the second batch, just to let you guys know, the batch code I have is 0603. I'm not so sure that dry down that is so reminiscent of a Les Exclusives. Funny thing, in my first impressions video, I said that, but this is the only one that is kind of girly in a way. I have to revise that because it is girly in the opening, but as it dries down, and drum roll, because I'm coming to a statement here. Okay, guys. Drum roll. Because to me, and this is fucking crazy, I know I'm sounding crazy, this should have been Boy. Tweak up the top notes, make it less Chanel 5-ish, but actually it's already less Chanel 5. I mean, of course, we know it's Chanel 5 also because it's a placebo effect. Like, you're telling us it's Chanel No. 5, so you're like, oh yeah, it smells like Chanel No. 5. Yes, it does have not really Chanel No. 5 in it, but it has Chanel in it, written all over. Because it starts off girly and it ends up super genderless. This is the complication of, is it light? Is it not light? If you spray it with this weird atomizer that just like creates a bubble of spray that doesn't really touch just your skin, but goes like there and there, not just there. It's like playing with you. But then you got to know how to do it. You got to know how to tame it. Put it in close and do this rather than, the bubble. Then you notice in the dry down just how amazing it becomes. And you go, that's Boy. That has character. Unlike Boy from the Les Exclusives that lacks that character. So Olivier, this should have been Boy. And Boy should have been, I don't know, something else. Whatever. We're not talking about Boy right now. But that's the quality this dry down has to me. It's super delicate and soft. As much as I love Coco Noir, the eau de parfum, it still bites. It still has, I love it to pieces, but it has a slight cheapness in there. Something in there can go slightly off. It depends on the days. There are days when it's amazing, days when it's less amazing, days when it's super aggressive, days when it's really tamed. It's amazing. It's a chameleon of a perfume. It's a perfect, Coco Noir, yes, is the right name for it. But unlike Coco Noir, that stays in that quality range of slightly aggressive artificiality of mass release, this one doesn't have that. This one is elegant. Coco Noir is elegant too, but this one stays elegant. Doesn't bite, ever. And I've been using it for a couple of days. I've been testing it, trying it. It doesn't go cheap on you, ever. It also has a slight reminiscence of Cristal Eau Verte. But again, Eau Verte also has that slight, something that bites you in it, something that's slightly cheap that bites you, but it fades out. But this one doesn't have that. But it has that green, fresh, sparkly, and it has the Coco Noir presence because it has the zhuzh, it has the charisma, but it lacks the cheapness. It has the depth of a Les Exclusives. So I would definitely recommend this one. I know on some skins, especially for those of you who say that the Eau de Parfum of Chanel No. 5 lasts like 5 minutes on your skin, this one probably won't. On me, first tests I've made, longevity, I get a good 6 to 8 hours out of it. That's a lot. That's a lot given that it's a l'eau, which is like even lighter than an eau de toilette. But I guess they had to call it eau de toilette. What are they going to call it? L'eau what? You know, it's l'eau de concentration that Chanel is playing with, and yet it's still called an eau de toilette. It's not in your, it doesn't slap whoever passes by you, but it's pleasant. It makes people easygoing scent. Okay, fine. So what? I don't need a niche fragrance that has tons of oud, that has tons of some resinous, waxy materials. I'm done with that. Been there, done that. Sandalwood, I get it. Sandal, you are niche. Bitch, you are so niche that you're like, sandal is a new black. Like we've come to a point where niche has become mainstream. And a lot of mainstream releases have become niche because people that are snobbing the main releases all buying niche, not buying main releases. Hence, inverted psychology. You call it what you want, girl. This one has that niche quality because it's not going to be loved by many who love No. 5, but it will be appreciated by those that sense out the nuances, the subtleties. I said it in my review of No. 28, popping up perfumes, magic, 28 La Pausa. It's about the silence. When you listen, so delicately positioned and placed that if you don't give them that chance, you will not smell them out. You will not appreciate them. You will just go over it and consume it like you are used to consuming everything nowadays, because we are consumers in a consumer-oriented society where things have to be devoured, spat out, and move on. But to appreciate 28 La Pausa, which has now been discontinued, unfortunately. I'm telling you, pleasure comes not necessarily when you're forcing it to come, by all means. Pleasure can arrive through simple gestures when you least expect it. You just got to open your heart and be ready for it. I did not expect anything from L'EAU. I actually thought it's going to be, cheap, bad, whatever, easy, crowd pleaser. It is easy. It is a crowd pleaser, but I smell out the work that went behind it. It's not easy to create a new Chanel No. 5. There will never be another Chanel No. 5. To me, this is more the Chanel No. 5 boy. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Not just boy, Chanel No. 5 boy, the fifth boy, or Chanel No. 5, boy number 5, Chanel. Huh? I'm loving it, and it's so fascinating that they decided to release it in September, like beginning of autumn, even though it's such a light, almost summery fragrance. It's invisible, subtle cashmere, pure cashmere that covers you up but doesn't make you sweat. It makes your skin breathe. It caresses it. It's almost like a balsamic quality that just like lingers on delicately, slowly. You have to come in close and you feel it and you go, I'm in an oasis of peace and pleasure, surrounded by, yes, maybe psychedelic intentions of a brand. And again, I've also mentioned that when Dior released their Poison Girl, that marketing was off. I mean, even the name of the perfume just didn't work. But the fragrance works, and here too. Chanel No. 5 boy. There you have it, guys. I have 2 bottles. I have purchased one to use, one to store because it's the first batch, and I do not want to risk to have it reformulated before I get a chance to purchase it, because you know what happens nowadays in the perfume industry. That's what happens. I would suggest don't buy it blindly. Purchase it. Don't buy it blindly. Try it on first. Enjoy it. And just isolate yourself. When you spray on a lot. And then go somewhere where it's peaceful. Where you have a chance to just be alone with yourself. And then make the decision whether or not you love it or not. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you like this review. If you have, please do thumb it up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. No matter how silent and shy you might be, and people judge you for that, don't give it a second thought. Don't care what they think about you, because you are you, and there's only one of you in the entire world. So as that one single individual, you know that you must never give up on love, because you cannot give up on love, because if you do, others will have to give up on love as well, because you are the individual. You have to start first, and everybody else will follow. Love you all, guys. See you soon. Take care. Bye.